Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. We have got a lot of shade to talk about this week, and not only from our listeners themselves, but straight from a lot of celebrities.
I was blown away by the amount of drama that has been happening in Hollywood.
We've got diss tracks. We've got people moving on quickly, people moving on years later, and all right in front of us all to see and speculate about. So we're going to give you the details on everything that we've heard about going on this week. So we're going to start with Miley Cyrus dropped her diss track for her ex-husband of years.
Literally, years. I feel like my entire life they were together.
But she just did it. And so we figured, let's go through the timeline of their relationship, because to me, I always, throughout their whole, they were on and off for I think 6 years.
At least.
But throughout their whole relationship, I at first really loved them together because I was definitely a fan of the last song.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good movie. And that's where they met. And I think that's where everybody was like, oh my gosh, are they dating? Are they not? People love a good two cast members dating.
I think that's audience's favorite thing, is to ship people together that are in movies. And I feel like it's because we don't necessarily know them in real life, but on screen, their characters are so cute together that we're like, oh, that's
we want it so bad for them.
So we have like a taste of it.
But so that's where they started dating. That was in 2009. And then they made their first red carpet appearance together in 2010. Like I said, they were on and off for 6 years. And in 2016, so again, from 2010 to 2016, they dated on and off. Then they got engaged. That in itself, kind of have some opinions about. If you're dating on and off for so long like that, could you really see
an actual future? It's
kind of what we were saying with like when people do things to like try to fix a relationship, but it's not really. It's like putting a Band-Aid on it. Like you got
never
engaged.
Fully healed.
Yeah, you got engaged. Like that's not gonna fix whatever was going on for those 6 years.
No, because I feel like when they did get engaged, I feel like it was kind of out of the blue. Like I feel like they got engaged after like a long period of being off, and they had just gotten back together and engagement.
That's kind of how I felt too. And then so they ended up getting married in 2018 and broke up not even a year later. And she released a song back then, which I feel like nobody's been talking about.
I know. Everyone's like, this new diss track. It's crazy, monumental, which it is in its own right. But this is not the first time that songs have been made and pointed fingers at Liam.
Yeah, so when they got divorced, or she announced that they were getting divorced, she put out Slide Away, which was all about him like basically claiming that they broke up because he was partying too much, like drinking too much and doing drugs.
And I did not realize.
You would have thought it was roles reversed.
I thought it was the other way around, because I didn't pay too close attention to it back in 2016 or whenever that was. And I truly thought that the demise of their relationship was because Miley was getting back into her ways of twerking, living that lifestyle.
And the reason that you even say that is because, too, I've seen personally a lot of videos that have been going around of like them on red carpets and her kind of like messing around and being playful with him, and him just being totally like, knock it off, like behave.
Not having it.
Yeah, like I swear there was one where he mouthed like, can you just behave?
Yes, at the Avengers red carpet. And then she
of course you know that.
Oh no, I know exactly. I know all that kind of thing.
Britney's big Marvel.
And she like shakes him afterwards, and then like she like pushes him away and plays with her hair, like sticks her tongue out, like does her own thing. And I've seen multiple TikToks of people trying to determine what exactly he's saying. I can't read lips for shit, so who's to say?
I mean, you could tell though there was something with the dynamic there that like he said something that she was just like, okay, I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw another interview where the person on the red carpet asked them like, what does it look like when you guys dance together? I don't know what the context was.
I saw this too.
And she was like, oh, and she like started like dancing on him and was like joking
Mm-hmm.
around. He literally like didn't smile, didn't laugh at all, didn't even like, was just like stop and like started to like walk away from her. And I was like, dude,
That's
like
tough.
especially in that situation, like, you know, people are watching, like you can't just like, at least for that moment, the fact that on the red carpet, he couldn't even pretend to be like, oh, ha, 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 and then later be like, hey, please don't do that. Like,
Right. Have some respect at least.
yeah, like don't make it awkward and obvious. But so that was in 2019, they called it off. And I think the other reason, so people were surprised by this new song because at that time when she came out with Slide Away and they got divorced, which to be fair, I feel like a lot of other songs were about him too, but it was just never so clear. Like Slide
Right.
Away came out and everyone was like, okay, this is about him. And this one came out, which is Flowers, and everyone's like, okay, this was about him. But I feel like Wrecking Ball could have been about him.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there was a lot of other songs. What was the other one we were just saying that came out?
Right away. Crap. Now I can't.
I know, I can't think of it either. But there was multiple other songs where I feel like could have been about him, but these ones it was just obvious. And this one, since it was so much later, I think that's why people are like, really? Like, why so many years later? It was Slide Away. It was like right away. But there were so many theories about what this, like, why this song, why this music video, why this dress in the music video, why all these things. So
TikTok had a field day.
yeah.
It was like Miley Cyrus fans were acting as if they were hardcore Swifties because they dissected this video.
But I kind of loved it. And the reason I think I loved it so much more than when it's like the Swifties, because I feel like it was a lot more clear. I feel like for a person that's not totally invested in their relationship, like I was a huge fan of them when the last song came out. Then it kind of was just like, whatever. Like I didn't follow their relationship because, like I said, it's so, when you're doing a movie together and it just comes out, everyone's so invested. But I didn't follow it too much, like along all those years. But now I feel like with this one, I can kind of look at these things that people are piecing together and go like, oh my God, that kind of makes sense to me from an like outside looking in.
It's adding up.
It's a lot more clear than I feel like some of the stuff that like really deep dives like into the Swiftie stuff. Like,
100%. Like the math is mathing here where
and other stuff you really have to know that like
it's gone too far.
Yeah.
This stuff, it's like
that's pretty blatantly obvious.
pretty
But you know what I even like more about it? I feel like that was the point.
Oh, I think so too. And you can tell by her face at the very end of the music video, it's like, F you. Like, I did what I did. I held on to my receipts. I didn't speak too much about this because she's in interviews. I feel like she speaks pretty kindly about him and the relationship.
Yeah.
And clearly she went through some rough times with this man's.
It was weird though to me a little bit. Maybe you have a different opinion. I don't know. But it was kind of like almost a regression in like what I thought she felt about it because like you said, in a lot of interviews that I've seen, like she did an interview with Rolling Stones where she was like, yeah, like I'm always going to love him. Like we've been through a lot together, whatever. And this kind of felt like either, I don't know though, maybe this is what happened. Maybe she went through all that and that's kind of what she needed to heal from the situation. But now she's like, you know what? Looking back on that, I had the right to be way more mad, and now I'm going to be mad about it.
Honestly, I feel like that could exactly be it. And I feel like even given everything that we're saying right now of like, oh, I didn't even think Liam was the problem. I thought it was Miley, the one that was twerking, partying. Maybe, and this is just me speculating, like she blamed herself for a lot of that went wrong. And now that she's had time to reflect on the situation,
she's like, wait a second.
She's like, wait, no, I wasn't the one that was messed up here. you were the one that was messing with me and making me feel like gaslighting her almost.
Let's break down some of what was in the song. That, first of all, the song itself, which it's so funny because the melody of it is like Bruno Mars' When I Was Your Man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they say. He dedicated that song to her. So she took the melody of that song
I have problems
and
with
made
that.
a new song. But what's crazy is me and Evan were in the car and it just came out. And I was like, oh my gosh, Miley put out a new song, which is like, I don't know. Again, like I'm not a huge fan. I don't follow everything, but it just popped up and I was like, oh my God, I feel like it's been years since I've heard anything. And I put it on and Evan keeps going, what is this song? What is this song? And I'm like, nothing. It's Flowers. It's new. I'm like, it just came out.
Miley.
And he's like, no, like the melody's the same or something. And then it came out that it was really the melody or what, I don't know if it's melody, if I'm saying that right, but the same as When I Was Your Man, which she literally changed the lyrics as well to fit her new narrative. So it was, I should have bought you flowers. She says, I can buy myself flowers. And held your hand. I can hold my own hand. Should have gave you all my hours when I had the chance. Talked to myself for hours. Take you to every party because all you wanted to do was dance. And she says, I can take myself dancing. So it was like a direct rebuttal of like everything that song was saying, because again, Liam was saying this to her
right
after the fact, and she's saying no.
Well, this is what I find weird with that is people are saying allegedly either he dedicated that to her when they were engaged or when they were like for their wedding. What kind of song is that to dedicate to somebody at your wedding or an engagement? I should have bought you flowers. I should have held your hand. Like, you're just referring back to all your ups and downs in your relationship. Like, that's not a song that I would want someone to dedicate to me
at
in those
a wedding
instances.
I feel like that just kind of showed that they were putting a Band-Aid on something that was like already broken.
Like, it's a breakup song. Like, I don't even think that song has a happy ending. So that's just my 2 cents with that.
But then to get even deeper, within the music video, it was shot in the house, supposedly, allegedly, that Liam brought 14 different women to while they were married.
That's so messed up.
Which, first of all, mind you, they weren't married that long. Damn.
No, they were married for less than a year.
This guy was busy. And then she also wore the same suit that Liam allegedly told her to behave.
The interview we were talking about at the Avengers red carpet.
On the red carpet for. So, again, like,
messy.
That's a big moment for them.
I love that, though. Like, if that is true, if it's the same suit, that's pretty genius.
Wild. And then in the house, like, I feel like that's such a, like, you thought you got away with this and I knew all along.
Yeah.
Like, if he saw that, like, he probably was so shocked. Like, obviously the suit thing he knew, but if he thought he got away with that house bringing girls there and she was just like, no, I knew all along.
Yeah. Especially after all this time.
And then apparently too, so while the times that they were together, he did the Hunger Games. Right. With Jennifer Lawrence. And so apparently Miley in the video also wore a similar dress to Jennifer Lawrence's dress at the Hunger Games premiere. So people are speculating that it's a hint that maybe she was one of the women that he cheated with.
And I don't think that that's the first time that there's been rumors of allegedly Jennifer Lawrence and Liam Hemsworth getting together on set. I don't know. I've seen some things and it was down to the hair in these, like in the music video, she puts her hair up.
Yeah, and she was like trying to do the similar style that that Jennifer Lawrence was wearing on the red carpet. I saw that too.
It's a little sus.
Yeah. Again, that goes back to like when people are filming movies together, a lot of times that does happen. Another huge thing that this was like a long time ago, but similar situation when people are acting together. Everybody wants the main actors that are in love to be really in love. And I think sometimes too, which, I mean, Austin Butler can't shake his Elvis voice. So like people really get into their characters. That's clearly
so true.
And I think maybe that you do kind of like, if you're acting with this person and you think this is really this person and you feel like your character, lines get blurred. Like with this was like a huge one that like I feel like nowadays doesn't really get brought up because it was a long time ago, but when Jennifer Aniston was with Brad Pitt for so many years too,
forever,
and then he filmed the movie with Angelina Jolie and they got together and like totally ended his thing with Jennifer Aniston after years being together just from a movie, like filming a movie together. So it's not far-fetched to think that he could have been getting with, it's not far-fetched, especially if, it's not like he's a loyal guy. He's bringing 14 other girls anyways to this house, supposedly. So, but then the last one was that, the last theory about this music video was that the workout routine that she does in the video in her underwear is his workout routine, which we were like, that one's not as bad, but it's just more of like, this is if he saw this video,
is a blatant
this
F
is
you.
about you. But it was, I think another reason people were so shocked about this coming out now, which they both are dating other people now.
I know. And I didn't realize that piece until you told me. You were like, they are dating people and like have been dating people. Miley's been with Max for what, a year now?
Yeah, what's his last name? I can't find it on here. We wrote it down, but Max something. He's
Max
like a
Mordano.
So he's a musician and they're together and supposedly have been together since last January. So
yes, spotted at her New Year's Eve party.
And then he has been with his girlfriend, Gabriella Brooks, since December 2019.
And that's when their divorce was finalized.
And he's still with her, supposedly.
She had to have been one of the 14. I'm just saying. I'm not the only one thinking it.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely thinking it. But so that was all of the tea with this Miley Cyrus Flower song coming out. But we had another diss track come out.
I'm living for the diss tracks. I feel like last year we did not get enough bops for the girlies. Like Summer was lacking on, a nice little disc track to jam to. And we're getting all of them in, 2 weeks of January?
Yeah, quickly. Right away.
I'm loving it. I hope they keep on coming.
People are just starting the new year fresh.
They should.
Cut these ties. Let's get this over with. It's also like just the level of pettiness in some of this. It's
so
just
extreme.
So amazing to me because Shakira put out a diss track this week against her ex-husband of 12 years, Gerard Pique. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. And he was a professional soccer player. Football, if you will. You said football, and I was like, where? And then I was like
football.
Soccer. Sorry about that.
You were like, we call it soccer here. And I was like, what's his title?
My bad. And then so she put out this song, and some of the stuff that she was saying in it was
very direct.
I'm worth two 22-year-olds because, oh, by the way, the girl that he was with is supposedly really young. I'm worth two 22-year-olds. You swapped a Ferrari for a Twingo, which I guess he's recently been seen in that kind of car. She's a Rolex. He's a Casio, which is apparently just like a cheaper watch. And he clapped back at that directly by having that watch company sponsor his podcast.
Which, like, I'm not happy about him cheating, but I kind of love that he did that.
It's just, again, the level of petty
is like,
so
okay, you're going to call me
good.
that? All right, I'm sponsored by that now. Like, what? And driving around in the car, too, because he was not spotted in that car until after the song came out. He started driving a brand new Twingo.
Because he was like, okay, you said it, so it must be true. Like, and then But by the way, too, I don't know what's a bigger slap in the face. He got sponsored by that watch company, and she broke the record for the biggest debut for a Latin artist in YouTube's history with her video
Good for her, as she should.
Her video got 60 million views in 24 hours. So I don't know who's really winning there. And then she allegedly caught him cheating. This was the just icing on the cake. Like, I'm sorry, but if you think you're going to get away with something,
you're not.
We will find it.
Yes.
You are not slick. We will catch you every time. So she found out that he was cheating because she noticed that the jam was used while she was gone and he didn't eat jam.
I think that's okay. So I have a lot of questions around this jam situation. One, good for her. Again, nothing is going to get past us. Like, no chance. But also, like, you're not like, what are you doing? Making toast, bringing this woman over and feeding her peanut butter and jelly? Like,
but to me, it's like one of those situations where you've known all along, but that's just the one little thing that like solidifies it in your head. Like, I feel like in every situation like this, you need like that one solid evidence.
And it was the jam.
And it was the jam. Like, but leave it to like, I mean, at least me, like, you mess with my food, I will notice. That's one thing that I could promise you. So the fact that the food was like, she pays that close attention to her food, like that she noticed. I saw TikToks of people being like marking with markers
so they
their
know
food,
what the thing.
whatever food gets touched in the fridge. So I thought that was really funny. But apparently because she found out this way, she, in the music video, had a severed head
and jam
in the fridge in her music video because that's how she caught him.
So aggressive.
So
honestly,
she was like, that was the end.
Everything that she has done has been over the top. And I love it. I live for that, including The Witch. Have you seen The Witch?
You told me about that, which go ahead.
So basically, allegedly, Shakira put a witch, it looks like Halloween decor, love it, outside of her house facing her ex-mother-in-law's house. And this witch is like blaring her new song on repeat towards her ex-mother-in-law's house. Why?
I mean, that tells me a few things. I mean, you can clearly make that inference that mother-in-law was not that nice to her. And, you know, maybe is still supporting the cheating husband. But I also saw, so they're going through divorce now, obviously. And she, in the custody terms, decided that they're moving to Miami, her and the kids. And he can have, like, he's getting some custody, but he is not allowed to move to Miami to make it easier for him. He has to commute. Like, she doesn't want him living in the vicinity of her.
I love it.
She's just really going down to it, but
she's to the extreme, and I respect it.
It's bold. But the other thing that came up when we were talking about this was, isn't she being tried for tax fraud right now?
Yes, and I think she alluded to it in the song somewhere. The song is in Spanish, so I've seen some like English interpretations. That's how we figured out like
some of these
the Rolex
things.
things. And I think she said something alluding to the tax invasion situation in the song. I could be wrong, but she's definitely going through it.
Yeah, because she's facing up to 8 years in jail. And so apparently what it is, the Spanish government has charged her with defrauding the country of 14.5 million euros and between 2012 and 2014. The case that for her was she wasn't living there at that time. So she had the option to like get this over with and just plead guilty and like pay back the money. But she's saying that she wasn't living there at that time, so she doesn't have to pay it back. And apparently this has happened before there for like a lot of like other famous people. Like I'm pretty sure. I read that like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi also had like a similar situation where they got, because I think the thing is when you travel like that, I guess you pay the taxes wherever you live at that time, but they're saying, oh no, you owe the money to us. So they are prosecuting her for it because she didn't plead guilty. So they're prosecuting her and she faces up to 8 years if she doesn't win the trial.
Well, she's probably just very stressed with all of this going on. So I understand why she's lashing out and going to these extremes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for Shakira right now.
She needs a creative outlet and this is it for her.
I mean, at this point, though, with like how well the song's doing, she could have paid that just back and got
the money
at
and
least
get it
tie
over with.
one part of what's going on in your life. So less stress for you. So that's all the Shakira drama. And then we've got a little piece of drama again with allegedly Selena Gomez is dating Drew from the Chainsmokers. So there's like 2 Chainsmoker guys. She's supposedly, well, in case people listening don't
I was
know.
like, I know. I was like, yeah, you're telling everyone else.
And I didn't really feel like, I don't know. I felt kind of like that's kind of random. Do you think?
So, yes and no. At first, I was like, I feel like this is 2 worlds colliding because, I'm a big Selena Gomez fan, also a very big Chainsmokers fan. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like they both exist, but not in the same world. And so at first I was like, do I love this because I love them both separately?
I love it if they make music.
Oh, I would be, if they made music, I would be so hype. I feel like there were similar rumors going around. She did a song with Marshmello back in the day.
And people said that she was dating.
And I was kind of all about that. I was like, I feel like that's a good fit for her because Marshmello, is kind of like more low key, it feels like.
Maybe that's, I think, why I was like, that's so random because they were just out there doing interviews talking about how they would have threesomes with girls together.
Yes, the Chainsmokers feel a little more aggressive.
They feel a little bit more like in the party scene.
Which is cool. It's fine. We can
makes sense for the DJ career.
Right. We can appreciate that. It's fun. You do you, but
and
not
then
the cost of Selena.
Yeah, then you have like Selena Gomez and I was like, that's interesting, especially at this time when I'm literally sitting there watching them talk about how like they would hook up with fans together. And I'm like, I don't really feel like that makes sense to me.
Not together.
But it also didn't really make sense because a little bit of tea here. Drew was allegedly dating Eve Jobs. And I can't even say it without laughing because Eve Jobs is Steve Jobs' daughter. And it's so literal that I wish it wasn't true. Like, he really named his daughter Eve Jobs. But anyway, so, it's not that funny. I don't know why it's so funny to me, but Eve Jobs, Steve Jobs' daughter, was allegedly dating Drew since last summer. And the week before this all came out about him having threesomes and dating Selena Gomez, they had posted on Instagram together.
Yeah.
And not even a week later, then all of a sudden this happens and she deleted her post that was of him. And I guess, I don't know if he had one of her, but basically all evidence of her has been scrapped.
That is.
And was not even a week before this.
It's a shame. And no, this is no offense to Eve, because I'm sure she's lovely. I'm sure she's great. But if I'm putting myself in Drew's shoes, Selena Gomez is like, she's like the perfect woman. Like, how could you not want to be with Selena?
Yeah, but it's still
wrong.
A little.
It's wrong.
I mean, you can't just live your life that like every time the next best thing comes on, like, oh, sorry. Thought I loved you. There's something better. I'll see you.
I'm just trying to,
And also, I mean, let's not forget Eve Jobs, Steve Jobs' daughter. I mean, isn't he like one of the richest? He's like one of the richest men in the world. This girl's probably like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's not like it was small potatoes. Like, I say small potatoes on this podcast a lot.
You do.
I really do. I don't understand.
I've never heard anyone say it. And honestly, I don't think I've ever heard you once say it
in real life.
Outside of this room.
I know. I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point is, he had it good already. And you just can't keep going through.
I'm on your side here. I agree. I'm just.
But yeah, it is Selena Gomez.
It's Selena Gomez.
But we don't even know if it's true. I think
it could be. It could be PR. It could be. They're just friends.
Could be a new song coming out.
It could be. It could be a lot of things.
Well,
bowling isn't anything like concrete
did we say
relationship.
that they were caught bowling together or something? Caught bowling.
That's literally what it was.
Caught bowling.
Wow.
It's the most innocent thing I think two people could do.
So true. I mean, it was also stated, we might have already said this, that they were making out while bowling, but there's no photos evidence of that. So until there's photo evidence of them making out, there's a hard launch. I think it's speculation. It's not real. I would rather her be with Marshmello or Chris Evans, who I think has a new girlfriend. So, you remember those rumors?
Yeah, that she was dating him.
That seemed like a good fit.
Well, more talks of people dating people who they may or might not be real. Yeah, allegedly. For some reason, it always gets brought back to Tom Brady on this podcast.
He is a core piece of content.
Crazy that if you would have asked me before this podcast started, are you going to talk about Tom Brady and football? I would have said, no, you're nuts.
We've talked about him by far the most out of anyone.
Anyways, he is not in the playoffs.
No. I think we all saw this coming. He has not been playing great. That's no offense to him. He's, the GOAT, but had a rough season. A lot going on in his life. Yeah, it was his first ever loss to Dallas after 8 games against them. So proud of the Cowboys. They did awesome, but will he retire after this? Will he go to another team? Who was to say? But there's also a little rumor happening
that he has a new girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't totally believe it.
I'm not fully convinced on this.
But apparently he's dating a 26-year-old model, which he's 45. Giselle's 42. I also heard a rumor that Gisele was dating a new guy.
Did you?
Some instructor of hers or something. But anyways, back to this girl. She's 26. She's a model. And the reason people think this is because she was spotted at a game in a game jersey of Tom's, which to me, I didn't really know what that meant. But supposedly, if you have a game day jersey, you can only get that if you're a player.
Yeah. So from what I heard, allegedly, this jersey that she's wearing is not one that could be bought, in any old store, in any sports store. This is a jersey that was worn on the field.
So people think that he gave her it because they're dating, and she's been going to the games for 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
However, she's also somebody who has said, went viral at a point for saying that her posts get deleted from Instagram because she's just too beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She went viral for that. So I don't really know if we could trust what is said here or
she's
posted.
Saying a lot. She's posting a lot about Mr. Tom Brady.
We also watched an interview with her where she said she got her boobs from drinking beer. So
again,
not too
just
sure.
Something to keep in mind as we continue to
speculate on the situation. But okay, so Gisele is also supposedly dating somebody. And I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I tried looking it up. I can't find a name.
He's a jiu-jitsu instructor.
Oh.
And that's pretty much all I'm getting.
Interesting.
Yeah, this came out in November.
I see that. I had not heard. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. I read a headline that said never leave your girl alone with her jujitsu instructor. Oh, it was her jujitsu instructor.
Yeah, so that's what I
or
was saying.
Pete Davidson. That's the headline. It is just a joke because Pete will steal your girl. He will. That's just a fact.
But back to so this model's been posting, but you know what this gave me the vibes of? When that whole thing was going down with Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott, and then this other girl, whatever her name was like posting all these things trying to make it seem like she was dating Travis.
I feel like that could be what's going on
and it's
here.
kind of like giving me the same vibes where like she's just posting a lot about him, but like who's to say if it's mutual? He doesn't follow her back. He doesn't like her stuff. He doesn't.
And we know Tom, and you know Tom
so well.
We typically trust his judgment of character, I feel like. No?
I don't know. You know this is going to be a really hot take, and
Ooh.
I'm not sure how people will feel about me bringing this up, but it's the one thing that I've never really fully gotten over, and I'm not really sure why we've kind of just swept it under the rug. Yeah, about Tom.
What'd he do?
Remember when he got caught deflating the balls so that he could throw them and better? And I feel like
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Selective memory on that?
Selective memory. I remember somebody deflating balls.
Oh, so you're saying it was the other people?
It could have been anybody.
Okay, so this is what it says right away when I look it up.
Tom Brady?
Brady was alleged to be
Brady.
at least generally aware of the plot to deflate balls.
That's what it says?
Yeah, he got suspended for 4 games.
Huh.
And $1 million fine.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
It blows my mind because it's like, I guess that's just how the internet and media works. It's like, when this happened, I remember it was such a big deal. And all I could think was like, that is your main job to like throw the ball. And like, you were like, I mean, like, and you know, whatever, coordinate the plays, whatever. But I'm just thinking like, that's a really big deal. I would think like, it would be like if somebody got caught, you know, I'm trying to think of another comparison, but to make your job, I don't know.
No,
it was just, I feel like it would be like
saying.
a really big deal and people just don't talk about it anymore or like forget about it. And like, it always kind of crosses my mind when these things come up.
Right. Like, how long was he doing that for and not getting caught?
Who would
know?
Right.
Who's to say?
Obviously, no one really fully knows because if they would have known,
the other players he was throwing to, if they were catching the ball.
But in that instance, did they know, or are they just catching it thinking like, wow, that was super easy to catch? Cool. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would only know if you knew, but I don't know who totally knew about it. That's why they're saying allegedly he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, they had enough evidence to think he knew that they suspended him, gave him $1 million fine, and he lost 2 draft picks. But he denies it, so I don't know. It just always crosses. It's like one of those things that's like in the back of my mind every time we talk about it. I'm like, nobody really thinks about that anymore.
No, they really have let that one slide. But I think my thoughts overall on this whole dating situation, girlfriend, whether it's real, whether it's not real, I think a lot could have been avoided here if he would have remained retired. When he retired last season, just taking a season off, been with his family, been with his wife.
Probably wouldn't have gotten divorced.
Played
so terribly.
Probably wouldn't have had the worst playoff showing that he's probably ever had. Could have just taken a year off. And then, thought about, his actions, life decisions, and then made a comeback, like 2023, 2024 season. Big deal. He'd probably still have a family.
Still has a family.
He still has a family. But I just think that a lot could have been avoided here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People make mistakes.
They do. We still support him sometimes. I mean, we're talking about him enough.
Exactly.
I can't tell if we're fans or where we
haters,
stand.
what are
Yeah,
we?
I don't know.
We're just giving the shady news, and it just so happens that
It's about him.
of all the people we could talk about, we choose him.
Choose to
repeatedly.
circle back to him.
Wild. Continuing with our shady news, shady stories. Let's get into some of these shady stories. Jeez. These are...
They're lengthy.
All right. Here we go.
I'm nervous.
Buckle up. Me too. I didn't know they were that long. When you were reading them, it seemed so...
No, they're not that long.
Okay.
They just look a little long. This is the most notes we've ever had.
Okay.
For a show.
All right. Shady story number 1. In 2020, I was talking to this guy via Bumble for a really short period of time. We quickly moved to texting and FaceTiming and were really hitting it off. One thing led to another, and I felt comfortable enough to invite him over for dinner. We previously talked about how much we both liked mimosas, so he brought the champagne and orange juice over to have with dinner. I didn't think anything of it, so when it came to opening the champagne and getting started, all of a sudden, he started getting really serious about drinking with me. He was explaining that he had gotten in serious trouble in the military for drinking and that he wasn't going to have any unless he was guaranteed to not drive anywhere for the rest of the night. I felt really uncomfortable with that idea in mind, but I didn't like how he had changed his mood completely. I was a little afraid to say no, so I said we can have 1 glass each and then drink water the rest of the night until he felt okay to leave. After dinner, we sat on the couch to watch a movie, and he was being super touchy and kept trying to kiss me, but I was dodging each one to give him a hint that I wasn't trying to do anything like that. I could tell that he got the message, and right away he started acting super upset like a child. I knew instantly that I had to get this dude out of my apartment. Next, he literally burped in my face and didn't even say excuse me or I'm sorry. What a disgusting creep. I was beyond annoyed and eager to make him leave without setting him off. He was a completely different person compared to when we were previously communicating. Lesson learned. I was alone and I knew that he had to leave peacefully or I'd possibly be in danger. I told him I needed to use the bathroom. I even locked the bathroom and the bedroom door behind me just to be safe. I called my best friend and told her everything and that I needed her to call me in like 5 minutes to come up with a reason for me to leave the apartment. I went to the kitchen and started cleaning and talking with him to kind of start over and keep things from being awkward. My friend called me and told me she needed me to come and pick her up as soon as possible, making it seem like there was an emergency. I told her yes right in front of him and pretended to ask her to send me her location to make the situation seem more believable. As soon as I got off the phone, I told him I'm sorry, but I had to be leaving. He got upset and said that he wasn't sober yet and I needed to stay with him. I quickly ordered an Uber and wasn't being nice anymore. I told the guy he needed to leave and that my friend needed me and his Uber would be outside shortly. He angrily grabbed his things and left. I felt horrible for even thinking he was safe to be around, and even more horrible that he knew where I lived and that he was coming to pick up his car the next day. I made sure I wasn't home for a few days and was cautious coming home every night after that. We never spoke again after he got in that Uber, and I have since moved apartments.
I feel bad for this girl because I feel like she was put in a very uncomfortable situation. Think she handled it the best she could.
I mean, yeah, she can't totally blame herself for that situation. Obviously, she didn't know and she felt like she took the precautions. Unfortunately, sometimes this is things that you have to be more aware of when you're a woman, but I've seen a lot of stuff about the people like faking the phone calls. I feel like that's one of the best situations you can do because then at that point too, that person knows somebody else knows where you are, who you're with. And the same thing, I've seen a lot of people say like to do it in an Uber if you're feeling uncomfortable and you're alone, to make sure that whoever's driving knows like, okay, someone has my location and knows who I'm with in the car.
Right.
So if anything happens, you're not like gonna get away with it. But it's still, to be in that situation has got to be so uncomfortable, like,
I know,
in the first place. But
and I can respect the guy for not wanting to drink and drive. Like, that is doing the right thing, but he knew he was driving there. He brought the alcohol with him there.
Right, don't bring it then.
Right. Or Uber yourself there and Uber home. don't expect that you're just going to stay at this girl's house the first time that you're there.
Kind of feels like maybe this is something he does to make people feel like, okay, well, I have to sleep over then.
Right. Like a manipulation tactic.
Yeah. Like, you're going to make me leave.
Like,
you're going to make me leave drinking.
Yeah. And I had a bad experience with like getting in trouble when I was in the military with it. It just seems very icky and manipulative. And
yeah, she did the right thing.
Yeah, she did. I feel that is extremely scary, especially I'm glad she's moved, but like knowing that he knew where she lived.
Even after that, she kind of like made herself feel guilty. Like,
right. And she shouldn't.
Yeah.
But no, by no means. It's just people are shitty.
I feel like the guy was definitely like 9 out of 10 shady, manipulative.
Oh, yeah.
Shady. Like,
yeah, in like the worst way, not in like the ooh, I loved this. This was so shady.
Yeah,
like
shame on you.
You suck. You're not a good person. Ugh. Shady story number 2. So I was dating this guy for a year and 3 months. For the first 6 months of the relationship, I didn't know he had a warrant out for his arrest, and he had stolen a car and was selling drugs. I remember coming home after spending a couple of days with him. We had just made things official on social media. Big mistake. Within like 20 minutes of us making things official, I had people that I didn't even know blowing up my phone and saying that I'm a monster and crazy and they hope I go to jail too. At this point, I was puzzled and I hadn't asked one of the people what was going on. Or no, she had asked one of the people what the hell was going on. Tell me how half of my town knew this man was on the run, but I didn't. I felt so dumb and out of place. It took a toll on me mentally, and I still stayed with him. And here's the juicy part. He goes, gets everything figured out because I was scared of being around him. Like, who wouldn't? I would be going to jail for being around him. Duh. He gets everything figured out, and once it's all said and done, I had found out that he cheated on me. Talk about pissed. So we hung out again. At this point, I was just waiting to see what he would look like because I had all of the evidence I needed. I began to ask him who the girl was, and he looked so puzzled. I could tell that he knew he was caught red-handed, and he started crying and admitted to doing it. And me, being the dumb bitch that I am, I took him back. Fast forward to 2 months after that, he had been caught selling drugs again and was on the run. This time I made sure I stayed away from him, and now he's currently in jail. Been single for almost 6 months now, and I couldn't have been happier. Why'd you get back with him, girl? Like, why?
Could have been avoided.
He was selling drugs. Say no.
It is kind of wild that how did she not know, but everyone else knew he had a warrant out for his arrest.
Right?
Like, I feel like if you had a warrant out for your arrest too, like you'd probably be a little sketchy about going places. Like, was he never scared of that? He was just like, oh, let's go. Screw it. Like, I might get arrested. But like
for 6 months. And then wait, 6 months of the relationship, didn't know he had a warrant. But in the beginning, she says, oh, we were together for a year and 3 months. So more than half of that, she knew.
Yeah.
Do better. We cannot be out here dating men like this.
Yeah. She learned her lesson in the end.
Took a while.
It definitely, I think, it may have been accelerated by the fact that he went back to jail. So, like, what was she really going to do?
Is true.
I think this one's like 7 out of 10.
I would agree with that.
All right. Shady story number 3. I am Spanish, and when I was in college, I met this Italian guy while doing a year of exchange studies in France. We immediately became best friends, and after some months began dating. By the end of the year, our relationship was really serious, and we both got jobs in Paris, so had long life plans together. My boyfriend went to a posh birthday party of a friend back in Italy, and when he came back, I could tell that he was misbehaving. I'm going to restart this one, because what is a posh birthday party?
Like a sophisticated, like Posh Spice.
Okay. What's the relevance? It alarmed me for a second.
No,
I'm like,
it's
what
a
is
key
that?
detail because the girl that he met at the party is royal.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. Shady story number 3. let me try again.
You go, it's a key deed. It's like that key.
Shady story number 3. I am Spanish and was my words aren't working right now.
Mine got a little sticky.
Okay. I am Spanish, and when I was in college, I met this Italian guy while doing an exchange year of studies in France. We immediately became best friends, and after some months began dating. By the end of the year, our relationship was really serious, and we both got jobs in Paris, so had long life plans together. My boyfriend went to a birthday party of a friend back in Italy, and when he came back, I could tell that he was behaving a bit different and more distant. A few days passed, and one night when my boyfriend was sleeping, I picked up his laptop to do something, and I noticed his email account was open, and there was a new email not read in the inbox from a girl I had never heard of. It said something like, "I felt the same way about you. It was such a special connection. I really look forward to seeing you again." I felt completely lost and so angry. I realized this was a reply to a previous email that he had sent saying that, since he met this girl at the birthday party, he couldn't stop thinking about her. My first instinct was to wake him up and just scream and break up with him, but I was really in love with him and couldn't bring myself to do it. Instead, I deleted her message and hoped that she wouldn't contact again. I Googled her and I learned that she was actually part of an Italian royal family and was featured in many socialite events. I felt really terrible, like I felt I could never compete with this girl. Every now and then, I would check his email on his laptop. Thankfully, this was before iPhones and everyone had access to emails on their phone, and I could intercept another email in which she said that she wanted to go to Paris to meet him. It was one of the most stressful times, and while I was pretending to know nothing and being the best girlfriend ever in the whole world. Eventually, time passed, and after 1 year, my boyfriend asked me to marry him, and we have the best time with our 3 daughters, so I'm quite happy for deleting those messages.
I feel like there's a TikTok song for this, like, girl,
This,
I hate to be the one to tell you this. This is not good. I mean,
she knowingly stayed with him, but to be fair, she doesn't know if anything actually happened at this party or if they just like met and had this crazy connection. You know what I mean?
Emailing each other.
Yeah. What do you mean?
They were emailing each other. He was like, our connection was so
Yeah,
special.
that's not. It's not right.
It's not right at all. Wrong.
But you don't really know what happened.
I don't know why when I said
I
John Tucker must die RONG wrong from the spelling bee at the beginning.
I don't remember. I don't.
It's the best part of the movie. Never
Sorry.
mind. I hope somebody else gets the joke.
I'm
Now I feel
sorry.
silly.
You're so silly. Okay. So it's like we're done. It's getting to that point. Okay. So yeah, I definitely she could have saved herself on this one.
I mean, they're happy now.
Yeah, but is she gonna really trust him again?
I wouldn't, but clear. I don't know.
You just never
Now emails
know.
are on your phone, so like, what's going on now?
What's really going on?
How are you
now?
monitoring his emails now?
Hopefully she's not, because like they're.
I feel like once you start, you can't stop.
Oh my gosh, is that true?
I mean, like with a specific person that you don't trust, if you start doing something like that, like where do you draw the line? Where do you end that? You know? How do you gain back that trust?
Well, I don't think you're really gonna ever fully trust that person.
Exactly.
Has he gone to any more birthday parties?
Some posh birthday parties?
Oh man,
I wouldn't be letting him go into any.
All right, what do we think on this? I mean, man, she really was intercepting
She's just okay with it.
those messages.
I'm going to say 4 out of 10. I'm like not happy about the situation.
I agree. I don't think this one's that shady. Like, she intercepted 2 messages. Like, he was kind of shady, though. He was about to leave her for a
super
royal
shady.
princess or whatever, whatever she was. I don't think there's royal family in Italy. I don't know what goes on.
Who's to say, really?
I'm not sure. But you know what? This is like what you said. Oh, well, if it was Selena Gomez, it's fine.
Different.
Oh, it's different now.
That is like only in the case that it is Selena Gomez. In no other cases is that argument applicable.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes our episode for you guys. Make sure you keep submitting your shady stories, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.